Hello everybody, this is Jason Heires. This is another album review. This is going to be number 7 when I switched it to the My Album Reviews. Today I'm going to talk about the new Wilco album. As you may or may not know, I'm a huge Wilco fan. I've been a fan for a long time. In the wall behind me there is a Jeff Tweedy poster that I got from a concert that I went to. And Jeff Tweedy, of course, is the lead singer and primary songwriter of Wilco. I've seen Tweedy now as a solo performer twice. I've seen him in the band that he did with his son called Tweedy, but it was Jeff and Spencer and some other musicians. I saw them once, and then I've seen Wilco at least 3 times and soon to be 4. So I'm a huge fan. I've seen him many times. Now, so I'm always really excited when a new Wilco album comes out. And this is the album cover again. It's called Ode To Joy. And this album is a little interesting, and I still haven't quite fully worked out my impressions of it. It's a very muted album. It's kind of, it works off of a very kind of a quiet and subtle and nuanced sort of mode of Wilco. So it's a little bit different than a typical Wilco album. Now, Wilco uses a lot of complex arrangements, and they borrow a lot from all sorts of different sources: jazz, rock, blues, just about anything under the kitchen sink. I mean, they do a little bit of everything. But they do have kind of a signature sound. And this is a little different than that signature sound. Now, this album has steadily grown on me the more I've listened to it, and I like it better as I've listened to it. So has a gradual decline. The band is, one of the best bands there is. You got Tweedy on vocals and guitar. You got John Stirratt, who's the bass player. You got Mikhail Jorgensen, who's keyboards. You got Pat Sansome, who does keyboards and guitar sometimes. And you have Nels Cline, and you have Glenn Kochi, who's the drum player. And all of these guys, musicians, are top-notch musicians, with a special mention to Nels Cline, who is one of the best guitar players in the world. I mean, he's right up there. His techniques and things, I mean, he can play just about anything, and he's a really interesting guitar player. He has a side career as a jazz musician, and he's very good. So this album, to kind of go through some of it real quick, it is very subtle, it is very quiet. It's even when they kind of get sonic and experimental, they don't quite go off the rails like they would in the past. Like, for instance, Quiet Amplifier has some really interesting exploratory guitar work, but it's not really loud. It's sort of in the pocket. It isn't kind of all over the place. It still fits in the song. It's experimental, but it's still quiet. It's kind of interesting. They have some kind of lurching drum beats in songs. So, normally a drum beat is, 1, 2, 1, 2, but this might be a 1, 2, 1, 2. It's a lurch. It's not a straightforward boom, 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 boom metronome beat. Sometimes it's that snare hit. You hit the bass drum first, and then you hit the snare hit, but you hit that snare hit slightly late, so it feels a little bit weird. It's like, when the snare hit should hit, but it hits just a fraction of a second later. So it's like boom, two, boom, two. And there's a lot of lurching drum beats in this album. Now, there's a few songs that I haven't quite connected with yet, but the songs that I do like is Before Us, Quiet Amplifier, Everybody Hides, White Wooden Cross, Love Is Everywhere, Beware, and Hold Me Anyway. Those are all songs I like pretty well. And this song may reveal itself to be a really classic album, but I don't think it quite reaches that point, just because it is a little bit hard to get that immediacy and the energy from it. But it is definitely subtle. Now, the best songs on the album is probably the two songs that they released first to get interest in it, which was Love Is Everywhere, Beware. And then the song that really is the closest thing to a true Wilco song and is still probably the best song on the album up to this point, and that's called Everyone Hides. And I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm going to try to do this now, and we'll see how it goes. And yes, that means I'm going to grab the guitar. So, yep, I haven't done one of these in a while. I don't know, obviously you can't see me very well, unfortunately, but we'll try it. Alright, so Everyone Hides is a really, in the core of the song, it's just really basically two chords. It's just a D and a G, so it's... You got this, everyone hides. So there's this little, before it goes back, it sits on this G and then it does this little B to A and then it goes into that. It's got this little riff that's playing in the background and it goes. I'm not playing it very well. For some reason, I'm screwing it up real bad. But that little riff, that little climbing riff is playing over the basic chords. They add another guitar part, which is just basically a... Now, it's interesting, though, because it switches into some interesting break parts when it kind of gets into the solo. That and it does these interesting where it moves into a double time. So it goes into like what it goes. Goes into this double time part towards the end. And this is towards the end of the song, and the guitar solos come in right here. Part is when it ends the song, it stops like that, so it goes into this like double time part, and it's very nuances in the song, the little subtleties in the arrangement of the song really gives it a distinctive flavor that makes it, part of it is it makes it a Wilco song. Wilco has 3 guitar players on certain tracks, and I'm pretty sure this one has 3 guitar players on it. So they can get away with a lot of stuff. But anyway, it's an interesting album. If you're a Wilco fan, you may have to listen to it a few times because it's not a typical Wilco album. It definitely is a little more muted. A lot of people talk about how the message of the lyrics is a little bit more positive than normal. And I can kind of see that, but I think it's more so it's Tweedy, is a little bit more reflective on his life at this point. He's older and he's been through a few things, like he had a health scare with his wife and a few other things. So I think that has a lot to do with it. He wrote a memoir and, he's just, he's getting older. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up. This is way long, but I appreciate you guys and thank you. Bye.